Salutations Programme, and welcome to Trope on a Rope, the show where we meticulously comb through the hard drives of Hollywood and analyse the data sets that make it tick through the operating system of chat, whilst trying to ignore and forget all the other terrible and crook stuff you'd probably find on a Hollywood hard drive. Over the next few episodes, we'll be looking at the 80s brief flirtation with video game culture. It was an exciting time when computers were no longer the size of a building. You could have one at home, on your desk. You couldn't have anything else on your desk. The things were fucking huge and beige for some reason. But importantly, they represented a bold new digital frontier, a world of possibilities where the only limit was your imagination or how much data you could get on a floppy disk. Not the small square blue ones, the big black ones that were actually floppy. There's a penis joke in there somewhere.
How long your patience was for downloading one image for 3 hours.
My name's Jeff, and joining me is Mr. Colin Gerard. Greetings, Programme.
Greetings, Program.
Tron follows the story of Flynn, an 80s computer genius and arrogant prick, after being booted and locked out by his previous employer, decides to hack in to find evidence that they stole his ideas. When that doesn't work, he breaks in via a very large door and gets transported to a magical world of circuits and diodes that he just kind of wanders around for the best part of an hour, before murking a couple of dudes just for fun and getting out with the evidence that he needs, which turns out to be a couple of sentences of plain text, printed on unheaded paper that he probably could have mocked up at home.
I did notice when he goes into the computer game world, or the computer world, whatever, he does kind of fit in quite quickly with that. Oh, so you're a program, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with that. Right, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I'm sure this isn't a fever dream or something.
which actually I quite respect that, because if they had an extra hour of the movie where he was like, why is this happening to me? It can't be real. I would have probably turned the movie off.
to like his like nonchalant attitude to everything that he encounters in this film also goes to the end as well, where when he gets sent back to the real world at the end and he's got his evidence, he just shrugs it off and just goes,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I got the piece of paper, and he goes upstairs like nothing's happened. He doesn't meet up with the others and just go, you will not fucking believe what's happened to me for the last hour and a half. Holy shit. No, he's just meets up with them and just goes, I got the piece of paper that I needed. That's like a sentence.
But then Dillinger sees the report the next day that the MCP's like being annexed. And he just sits in the chair and goes, end of credits.
Wow.
So
wow.
technically a big thing did happen. Like the MCP is not going to take over the world now, which it was planning to do, run the governments and shit. But like that's only mentioned, like the MCP's ultimate plan is only like mentioned once in the entire thing. I'm bored with these corporations. I'm going to take over. I think I can run the politics better, so I'm going to break into the Kremlin and.
Oh yeah, it does say the Kremlin at some point.
And then it cuts to Flynn for a bit. Then it comes back to Dillinger back in his office. He goes, "Now get me that file on the Chinese language," and that's the only thing ever mentioned. So he is planning. He is planning to take over the world. So Flynn unknowingly saved the world.
Yeah. From Flynn's perspective, this is super low stakes.
Yeah, right. It's just his ego. Someone stole his program. He's like, "Oh, you bastards!"
Like Flynn from the very beginning, he's just after the evidence
of a fucking chess program.
Oh, that it's paranoid androids is the name, and light cycle.
Yeah,
that was stolen. So he just gets that printed off, and it's just a plain text on unheaded printer paper that he could just have probably fucking done from home. Like, it proves nothing.
He could have typed that in Word and just press print. Like he doesn't even realize he's like saved the computer world as well. Like that doesn't mean shit to him.
Yeah, because he's not there for any of those conversations. Like when Tron meets what's his name, the old man with the nice chair, Dumont.
Yeah, he's not there.
When and he's there, and he talks to Alan through the digital anus room.
It's the first time I've watched this, and I've seen it a few times. First time I've watched this that I realized that Tron is Alan.
Yeah.
I always thought, why the fuck is Tron not? Why is the fuck is Flynn not Tron? This makes no sense.
Yeah.
But obviously, he didn't program Tron.
Only Dillinger in the office really knows how high the stakes are, but also Dillinger doesn't know that anything is happening.
Yeah,
Like, he doesn't know that the guys are downstairs fucking around with stuff.
certainly doesn't
Like,
know
he
Flynn
doesn't
is in the
know.
computer.
He doesn't know anything's happening. He's just in his office, occasionally looking out of his window.
Yeah, he likes to. He likes. I love the fact the first time you meet Dillinger, and it's when Alan's coming in because he's been like told to come upstairs, and he
Yeah.
sees him coming on the camera, and he goes, "Right, better turn the back of the chair to the door so I can
Yes.
look."
But then when Alan gets to the office, he is actually facing the table. Like, he's done it. He's turned his chair around, and then there's been a bit of a pause, and he thought, "Oh no, actually."
It's going to be
He's
a
turned back around.
bit too dramatic.
He practiced once to the turn back around and realized that no matter how menacing that looks when you turn around like that, shuffling your feet under the table to turn the chair around.
There's also a very slightly awkward threesome happening between Alan, Laura, and Flynn.
Yeah.
In the real world at the beginning, he's constantly flirting with Laura. Laura and Alan are obviously together because the two programs are like in love. And even in the computer world, Tron's obviously they're always together. And then Flynn at the end like gets off with her just before he jumps into the beam of light.
So we got the cast of this, right? So there's Kevin Flynn. So everyone plays two parts, right?
Yeah.
There's Kevin Flynn and Blue. It's Jeff Bridges. Alan and Tron are the same person. There's David Warner, who is Dillinger Sark, and he's also the voice of the MCP. I found out it's uncredited at the end.
I was confused though. One thing did Flynn create the MCP, or did Dillinger create the MCP?
I think Dillinger. I think he says that he created the MCP
because Dillinger says in the office that he created him, he wrote him, but Flynn's at some point is saying about a chess program that he created, and then Dillinger says to the MCP, used to just be a lowly chess program.
Yeah.
So I thought that was that one. And at the end, on the piece of paper, it says annexed. So the MCP is annexed, originally designed by Flynn. So who the fuck created the MCP? Was it Dillinger or Flynn? It was one of them.
So if Flynn made the game that was a chess program, and then maybe Dillinger like fucks around with it.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
That would make most sense, I guess.
David Warner, by the way, who is like the bad guy of the 80s. He's in this.
Not even in just movies, just in his actual life. Just a horrible person.
Horrible. Do not Google. I'm sure he was lovely. He's the bad guy from fucking Time Bandits.
Yeah. Love that movie.
But yeah, he's Dave Warner. He was also Dave. We're on first name terms now, casual. He's also Chancellor Gorkon in Star Trek 6.
Wouldn't know.
Undiscovered Country. He's the Klingon that gets assassinated.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Laura in the real world, spelt Lora for some reason, and Yuri. And then the old guy, Bernard Hughes, who is Walter and Dumont. In the video game world, there's Ram.
Ram, who is he in the real world?
Really, really, really small part in the real world. You know when Alan gets summoned, he gets his level 7 clearance revoked.
He walks from one cubicle to the other.
And just goes, "Can I have your popcorn?"
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Okay. I noticed one other one as well. The very first blue program you meet that's being transported, and
Crom, yeah.
He was in the real world as well. He was Laura's assistant.
Motherfucker, I didn't notice that.
He's one of the scientists working on the laser.
Is he? Oh fuck. What are your general thoughts about this film then?
I love this movie. My first thought,
Mm.
was the for the time at least, the graphics of when he gets fired the laser fires at him and he gets like erased into
Yeah,
that's fucking amazing.
yeah.
It looks absolutely brilliant. The like the religious connotations with the user being like kind of like God, and at the same
Mm.
time the politics thing was a bit grating. I don't like the fact that the main character had no idea he was saving two worlds.
Yeah,
I I don't like the fact that Alan's the only one who seems to actually know what's going on.
yeah.
I don't like the fact that Dillinger, the main bad guy, never really does anything in the real world other than sit at a desk. I don't like the fact that like obviously Flynn, Alan, and Laura are having a threesome relationship. What's the other thing? I don't quite like the fact that just lots and lots of MacGuffins. Or is that the right word?
I
Like,
don't know. I'm trying to think of him like a thing.
or he just learns out that as he's a user, all of a sudden he can build things with his hands in the computer world. And
Oh, that's Deus Ex Machina.
Deus Ex Machina, like lots of Deus Ex Machina in this movie.
Yeah. Right.
Generally, I do actually really enjoy watching this movie.
So I had never seen this film all the way through. This is a film that was that I caught glimpses of. I had this feeling about Star Wars as well before I properly seen it. That it was something that's always on, specifically around Christmas, on like ITV3,
Yeah.
something like that. I would catch it halfway through, and without context, it looks, sounds, and feels like shit. So I
Yeah,
was never, I, I was, I was never like, oh, I don't really. Coming into this, I was like, I don't want to watch this film. Like I've seen the sequel, and I know a bit of the context of the first one to have seen the sequel, and the sequel was all right. An opinion that I've now changed.
yes,
Um,
thank you. Because you said that before we were talking about it. I haven't like rewatched that one to remind me what happens, but it seems to just forget what Tron was actually about and just
yeah, I
makes up a load of shit.
so I did rewatch it. I watched it after this, and holy shit,
It's fucking crap.
the two things they don't fit together.
I always thought a good sequel would have been like they got the laser that MCP fires
Mm.
Flint into the computer with. Um, a good sequel would have been if they figured out a way of getting a program into the real world.
All right, stick a pin in that. We'll come back to that later. Uh, so I'd never seen this film before, all the way through. So I watched it for this, and it's like, oh fuck, all right, okay, gotta sit through this. This film's great.
I know it's fucking awesome, right? It's not
I
without it's not without flaws, like, but it's fucking good.
like the effects thing, like, oh, the effects are dated.
No, they're not though.
In context, they fully make sense.
Yeah.
And they're also like for the time, like, I know a bit of like how they were made painstakingly, by the way. But even without that, like I found myself rewinding bits because they were like, how the fuck, like, how do you even start with the idea of how to get that?
Right.
Like, even like the title sequence, which is just the word Tron that just comes at you at the screen, and then it turns into like digital landscapes and shit.
Which looks fucking fantastic, right?
It does. I rewound it 5 times because I was like, the fuck? They try and fade it into like a cityscape, but then they kind of biff it right at the end. And the fact that the computer world is so different from the real world that you fully accept that it's a different world,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
which the second one doesn't do.
Doesn't do it all.
The second one, by being like photorealistic and like everything's like glass and neon panels, light panels and shit, and you're just like, a lot of the real world looks like that.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I didn't like the aesthetics of the Tron. The first one is just perfect. Like, especially considering it's made in 1982. This is what you would expect the Tron world to look like.
Yeah,
It's all just like the 3D constructs, and like
yeah,
you don't even need to know why certain things are shaped the way they are, because I mean technically that doesn't really make any fucking sense.
yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's just the way the fucking world is. And they make little subtle references, like when Ram's in the prison, he goes, "What's happening in the real world? I've been stuck here for like 200 milliseconds or
Microcycles.
microcycles." You're like, ah, that's fun.
Yeah, I do like some of the Tron talk. Like there's microcycles, which apparently isn't little bicycles. There's bits, bytes, de-resolution as a word for death is always quite fun. I did like that. I even like the sound is a bit weird, like it's like echoey and like the footsteps are grating and shit like that.
You hear this going dong 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 dong.
The ships, like the outlines of shit. Yeah, it's the effects are perfect, and the ones in the second one and probably the third one are not quite as good.
They're definitely higher quality. They definitely took a lot more money and production to create, but they're just like wrong.
Yeah, like there's bits that the second one does do well, like the lights, the upgrade of the light cycles. The light cycles look awesome in the second one.
I don't remember at all. I remember that was one of my favorite parts of it. Oh, no, I just remembered as well. You know when he learns his user powers and he creates the finder or whatever they call it, locator, or those two-legged things that fly.
Oh yeah, shit, I forgot about them. Yeah.
So he creates one of those and they fly around a bit. And the first thing he says when he gets to the control panel is like, wow, it's just like the arcade controls. At the very beginning of the movie, the very first thing you see in the real world is someone playing the light cycle game, and it has this big joystick in the middle with two handles on the side. It's exactly like the controller he uses to make his locator thingy.
So we have changed the trope. It was going to be video game movies, but now it's 80s video game movies specifically. But I nearly changed it to Alice in Wonderland because that's essentially what this is.
Yeah, it's the goal of the story is slightly different, but yeah, he is in a world that he's trying to get home.
Because then I tell you what else I watched the other week. Because you know what else is Alice in Wonderland, technically speaking, it's fucking Surface.
Oh, fuck you! You sent me the link to that the other day, and you linked it on one of our other videos, and I started watching it going, ha!
So I watched that after Tron the other day, and it's the first time I've watched it in like 15 years. We should do like a special episode about it at some point, because that was, you know, the effects are ropey, but it's like a different world. It's also in black and white mostly.
Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, I had fun watching that.
By the way, I'm also assuming, but this is assuming that Ram dies, right?
Yeah,
He resolutes. I don't know. And Tron went through, not Tron, Flynn went through the exact same experience. He got fired off his light cycle by a tank. I'm assuming that the only reason Flynn didn't die was because users can't go through de-resolution because they're not programs. That was my only guess. But at the same time, then there's no threat. So I might just be wrong.
I think he's got plot armor because he's the main guy. Otherwise, you get credits.
True.
Yeah, Ram. I think it's just that Ram biffed it a little bit harder than Flynn did. Or like after that, they didn't really have anything for Ram to do because Flynn just kind of wanders around for the rest of the film. He kind of casually walks into the next place.
He kind of knows where Tron's heading, and he's trying to find his way there as well. But he doesn't. He's kind of new to the world, so he's literally just wandering around. And then he realizes he can turn red, which is useful.
The film starts. I thought it was pretty weird that the film starts in Tron World.
Yeah,
like straight away. It's like for like Alice in Wonderlandy kind of films. It's weird that you'd start there, like Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, fucking Bassoon.
never seen that.
John, what's his name?
Malkovich.
John Carter. There you go.
Weird that my mind instantly goes to Malkovich.
So yeah, Sark is playing on the game grid. Surprised he plays himself.
Yeah, because I thought if he loses, doesn't he not die?
Yeah, he dies, right?
Yeah.
I also watching this and then watching Tron Legacy is like, where exactly is is all of this happening? So I assume the computer world is like an encom server, right?
Yeah.
And it has access to the outside world because the MCP is being a dick and just being like, oh, I'll get these things from the Pentagon
Yeah.
and the Kremlin. At which point Dylan just like, I don't know about that. So it's mainly at the server at Encom, but it's like it's got access to the outside world, so it's got access to like the light cycle game at Flynn's and all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
In the second one, it's just in that one room in the basement of Flynn's.
I don't remember.
It's the second one. Flynn's son goes to the arcade, finds a hidden computer terminal in the basement, and then gets troned into it.
Yeah, that's another reason I don't like the legacy one, because how did that take him into the fucking, like, Flynn's bar isn't what took him into the Tron world in the first movie. It was a fucking laser.
The laser's in that room for some reason.
Oh, okay. Why?
The laser's in that room. So in Tron Legacy, the whole digital world that he creates is just in that computer that's in Flynn's basement.
Okay.
It's not connected to the outer world like the internet at all. And the only way in and out is through that laser.
Yeah.
Which for some reason is in that room. Let's talk about this fucking laser, by the way. Of all the like the digital frontier and like artificial intelligence, like program sentiency and shit, the laser
It's the most amazing invention ever invented.
is a fucking marvel of science. And they just gloss over it so easily. Just, oh yeah, there's a fucking magic laser. But no. Can we talk about the laser?
Can we give Laura some credit here for inventing the best thing ever invented?
Oh, you made fucking light cycles. Well done. You invented Snake on phones. That was big that was big when people had Nokias. She's invented a laser, motherfucker.
That can fucking transport you from the real world to inside a computer and still be yourself. You still got your own personality and everything. Not just creating like a representation of yourself. It transports your actual body, digitizes it, and then sends it inside a fucking computer.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, you know, like in Black Mirror, it happens a lot in Black Mirror where there's like digital copies of people.
Yeah.
There's an episode called San Junipero where old people, or like when people die, they can have their digital selves, their consciousness put into like the simulation, which is a town called San Junipero. Like, is it your consciousness? Is it you, or are you just paying for like a digital copy of yourself to be put into a video game whilst you actually die?
Like with all your memories up to the point you were copied, and then
yeah, but it's still not you going to this eternal heaven. Like, you just die. This copy does all this stuff, which is fucking pointless. Why do you give a shit about that bit?
Yeah, because that thing's just going to carry on. Yeah, you've basically created a completely separate life that just has your memories. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. To get deeper into this is also the fucking transporter question from Star Trek. Does it kill you and just make a copy?
And yes, yes, it does.
Where was I going with this? Yeah, no, that fucking laser though, it actually digitizes you in and out. Like, you physically go that. Like, he doesn't like take his consciousness and then he falls on the desk or something in the real world. He actually goes inside and then he actually comes back out. That's fucking genius.
Everything about him except for his clothes.
Oh yeah, what happens to them?
Because when he goes back to the real world, he's not naked.
Yeah, I mean, well, the laser just like with the orange, the laser would take everything away.
Just not the
just
not the peel.
It puts it does take everything. So it would take his clothes. So why is he wearing Tron stuff back in the thing? Like, if it had like his clothes were just like neatly folded on the bench.
When he wakes up from like,
have I been roofied? And yeah, how does he get back into, like, he should be beamed back out, bollock naked, with his clothes folded on the bench.
Like, if he if he digitized and his clothes just like collapsed in a pile on the chair.
Yeah.
That would have made sense.
Yeah,
I do like the design of Sark. He's got little devil horns because he's a bad guy.
he does have little devil horns. I do like the design of Stark. I like that little room that he has that he talks to the MCP in.
What about it do you like? He's holding the two things and he gets electrocuted.
When he first steps into it, like I was sold on the special effects, but the when he steps into that up to that little podium and then the things of light appear around him.
Yeah, the pillars of light.
Yeah, the pillars
like a
of
little
light appear around
cage.
him. That's when I was like, oh, the fucking special effects in this are tits. I'm liking this. Anyway, I want to linger on the laser just a little bit more.
No problem.
The like it's a prototype, so there's a big fucking there's loads of machinery and like gauges and switches and valves and all this kind of bollocks. There's a big light board that's turning red and green and like to say that certain things, and everyone has to like fucking get out and blah 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 blah. It's huge. There's walkways and gantries that go around it. In the second one, it's just in the corner of the room. Just the laser just by itself just turns on.
And it has a plug to plug it in the wall.
And it has a plug. Like in the first one, like they have to turn keys at the same time and shit. It's like woo woo, like alarms go off. This huge room-sized machine thing has to whir into action. On the second one, it just goes. Fucking second one sucks.
I'm glad you agree with that. That's why I didn't rewatch it because I remember I just didn't. A, I didn't get it, and B, it's shit. I think I didn't get it because it was shit. I stopped paying attention.
For the genius of the like they're geniuses to have made that laser. Well done. Have a biscuit. Geniuses sometimes are really dumb when it comes to simple things. For a start, if you've got a super dangerous laser thing, do not put the control panel that operates it in front of the laser.
That's a really good point. It also doesn't have the ability to rotate and turn, so it can only be fixed in one direction. Why point it at the fucking guy controlling it?
Point it directly at the fucking desk that you control the thing
from behind.
Just point it at a wall or something.
If it hit the wall of the building it's in, would the entire building just vanish?
But yeah, that's where it should be pointed. Like, have something painted like dots and shit on the wall and like target marks and all that kind of bollocks. Don't point it at the desk that fucking controls it. That people can just walk in front of at any time.
I just realized how they could make my delivery idea a reality. Make a second laser and just shoot that laser so it's in the computer world. Now you've got it on both sides.
Technically, the ends of those lasers, the middle of that should be that solar sailor and the line.
Why?
Because then, like, things get digitized into the digital world. They get put on that solar sailor transporter thing, and then they get flown to the other end of the line. And when it reaches the station at the other end, it gets beamed back into the real world.
Yeah. Because how does he get back to the real world? He just kind of does.
It just kind of does because the film had to end. That kind of happened. Oh no, they specifically call it a portal in the second one. So when we meet Crom, so Crom is like he says like he's like a financial program or some shit.
Well, Ram says he's a tax guy.
So all of these things, all of these programs, they're being taken from the outside world by the master control program. This is how I understand it, right? Please.
Well, they're not from that. They're being taken from the inside the Tron world, but
I mean, like the other systems.
Yeah.
So they're being taken from other systems. So the master control program seeing something at like the bank and he's just going, oh, I can use that.
Yeah, but basically anything that he finds useful that will help him with, I guess, world domination, which is surprisingly only mentioned once in the entire movie. he used that to add to himself. Everything else that's superfluous, he just puts into like games to either kill him off or to if they survive and renounce the user, then he can use them as a loyal pawn follower.
My understanding is that he's taking these functions and programs. If they die on the game grid, they become part of him. So that in the real world, for the users like log in, the dude at the bank, he logs in. It's not that program anymore. It's the master control program doing the same thing.
Okay, I just assumed that anything that was useless to him would be just deleted. But that makes more sense because like you can't delete really important programs. If they losing the game thing, they become that makes a lot more sense.
I was thinking about it because I should have double checked this, but like the dying effect, the de-resolution effect, where they like turn to light and then like a little disc goes up into the air.
When Ram dies, he does start turning red, right? Just before he vanishes.
He starts to bolster and then he just vanishes. But the thing is that like the thing of the disc going whoop up into the air doesn't happen for Ram
Because he's not on the game grid.
because he's not on the game grid. That's my guess.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Ram just dies and like so his program in the real world, whatever he did, that doesn't work anymore. Because that happens with Clue as well. Clue doesn't die on the game grid.
Because he
gets murked.
Because he doesn't. It's not like the thing in the real world disappears. It's just the program that makes the thing work. That does all the work for that program. That disappears. So the in the real world, the thing that you created is still there, but it will just be like a Windows going error 401.
File not missing. Oh, fucking Doki Doki Literature Club vibes.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was fucked up.
Holy shit, that game's Tron.
From the real world perspective.
So yeah, if they die on the game grid, so because that explains what the game grid is for. Because otherwise, it's just like, why are you doing this? Just because it looks cool.
Yeah.
But if they die on the game grid, then they become part of the MCP. And if they die out in the Badlands or whatever the fuck, they just die.
Yeah.
Tits.
So maybe so because the MCP used to be a chess program, so that's he exists on the game grid, which is why once he got control of that, that's
holy shit, yeah, that is. So he's just gotten bigger by just appropriating other programs from around him and just holy shit. Nom, 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 nom. I like that thought.
I also I like the fact that MCP, the actual character in the computer world, looks exactly like the end boss in Star Fox, the first Nintendo game.
Does it?
I do like the even though just the idea of just randomly throwing religion into it was a bit annoying, but I do like the fact that they're all like I think Crom says this as well. He's like do you believe in the user? It's like, yeah, well, he wrote me. What happens if all the users aren't there anymore? Well, that would be rubbish. I don't want to leave this place and just find cold circuitry and like wires. Oh.
So the religion thing, I like the fact that like everyone, like most of the characters are just like, oh, another fucking religious nut. The users don't exist. Get fucked. But the master control program does just say to fucking what's his name?
Suck.
It does just say to so. Oh yeah, I'm sending you a new guy. He's not a program. He's a
user. Yeah,
he's a user. Just says it out flat, and it's just like a user. It's like yeah, it's a user. Get over it.
So both Sark and the MCP are the only like things in the computer world that actually know for a fact that users exist, and they've just lied to everyone else.
And I
like that.
I like that. It's just yeah. So everyone else is just like, oh yeah, it's like a religious. It's like who knows, but they fucking know. They know the ones up top, and it's being used to they use it to manipulate everyone else.
Yeah, that was good. Like you get themes of like sort of what's it like dictators or authoritarian rule kind of themes in this as well, right?
Yeah.
Which is what authoritarians will do as well, is that they'll use controlling religion or controlling something to control the masses.
So yeah, no, I did like the religious overtones in this because it is you manipulative fucks.
Yeah, when I said I didn't like the religious, it was just that I generally don't like religious overtones like forced into things, but it actually works quite well. The singers, the gods are actually real, existing, definite. that definitely users definitely exist.
After the thing with after like the introduction of the world, it goes back to Flynn in his thing, and it says with text on screen, meanwhile in the real world, dot dot dot.
Yeah.
Which I did like.
Thank you for that.
So
I would have not been able to distinguish.
so Flynn is using Clue. Clue is a program that Flynn has made to go and find this file.
Yeah, so Flynn is like Alan's Tron is the same as Flynn's Clue, but Flynn's one gets caught and dies.
Gets caught and dies. Also, I love the fact that Clue is very robotic in the way that he talks.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like he's not a very good program.
But that's the point I was going to raise, is that like, so Alan's made Tron, right?
Yeah.
And Flynn's made Clue. Flynn is supposedly the genius programmer who creates the best programs ever. And Clue's shit. And he gets caught. And he dies.
Yeah.
So basically, even the characters themselves in the movie are telling you that Flynn is an arrogant piece of shit.
Yeah. Right.
Not only does he create the shit program, he doesn't have and doesn't get the girl.
Yeah.
But he tries.
He tries. God bless his little cotton socks and possibly a HR issue.
They're like Alan should have been the main person in this fucking movie.
The film is named after his character.
I know. Who the fuck is Flynn? And the only other program that we know he created was a chess program, which was, I'm sure, was fantastic. But he didn't make that the NCP. It was Dillinger. So even Dillinger's a better program than him.
So Clue is shit, right?
Yeah.
Clue, like, he has this very like robotic way of talking and speaking. Yes, I'm doing the thing that I said, so blah 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 blah. Whereas everyone else just talks like normal people.
Yeah.
So is that because Clue is shit, which I think we might suggest possibly, yeah, and therefore like a disposable program. But like, where after he gets murked, like Flynn's like, oh, that was my best program. Really?
Yeah. Really? That one?
Really? That was your best program? He's kind of shit.
Yeah.
Does he talk like that because that's the way it is? Is it because
it's not the way it is, because every other program talks like a human being. Oh no, actually, no. Thinking about that, when you first meet Laura and she's delivering reports, she does speak like that until Tron walks in and like wakes her up. And at first she replies again with her standard computer speak, and then she snaps out of it. So
okay. So is it because he's like a poorly written program and a bit shit? Is it because it was like the first thing that they filmed and and they went, yeah, no, sound like a robot, and then he did it, and then they went like, no, that doesn't work. This was quite expensive. We'll keep this in, but kill you.
I reckon maybe Flynn's the user's influence by just being there is probably, when he talks to people, maybe it kind of affects. That's a load of bullshit I just said. It's a shit like program.
Or just Jeff Bridges, just like on the day, just went, I'm going to do a thing. Fuck it. Gotta say, right, the interior of that tank and a lot of like, the set is amazing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the sets, and not a lot of this film isn't real. It's all like painted cells and shit. But like some of the stuff that is real, like the tank, the flying paranoid thing, tits, love it.
I really like the games as well that they play. The 3 games:
Light Cycle,
throwing a disc at people.
Yeah,
and the one with like hurling with the big hooked. You throw the ball off the ceiling. That game was awesome.
Yeah, with the little target thing that you're standing on, and then the rings disappear.
That looks like a great game.
That looks awesome. They have a very similar scene in the sequel, and it looks shit in the sequel.
Bollocks.
It's absolutely like the floor's just glass and it breaks and everything, because everything in the sequel is just neon lights and glass panels. So everything just looked boring as shit.
Yeah.
Like all of the games look kind of distinctive, like someone sat down and designed each one.
The thing I like about the graphics in this one is that it's a freaking computer.
Yeah,
It like you'd expect things to be like very 3D, like a very simple,
yeah,
like a very like a what do you call it? Geomatic?
yeah, like polygons and shit.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's what this is. So when they start trying to make it more like the real world, it doesn't make it seem like a more advanced computer. It just makes it seem unbelievable. Like
yeah.
I can believe this is the inside of a computer. It's what I would expect the inside of a computer to be like.
Because I remember. Do you ever play the old Tomb Raider games?
Yeah. Love Lara Croft.
The new one, the new ones, which I also do. I've played all the new ones, but the new ones are like fully 3D and shit like that, like
Mm.
a very like realistic looking. But the old ones, 3D also, but they had like it was all like geometric shapes.
That's the
Like
one.
you knew what
Geometric.
certain
Thank you.
you knew what certain things were. Like you knew that this was there was a lot of moving big boxes that were always the same width and diameter and all all the same measurements. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I can move that because it's like a copy and paste from something else earlier in the thing. Everything's like flat sides and all that kind of shit.
I love the fact that all the programs are fucking drug users as well.
What, Tron?
Yeah. They find a pool of water.
And they're
And
like,
it's,
yeah,
oh,
fucking
oh, that's the
strap
power.
it to my fucking
Fucking
veins.
oh, God, I love that fucking power.
Right, quick question, right? So in Tron world, they're inside a computer, yeah?
Mhm.
In the Tron world, there are also computer consoles.
Yeah. So
So
I know what the next question is. Do they have they created programs to run those computers? Is there a laser? Can I go
is
further
there
down?
is there a laser? Just one scientist working on a laser, just going. Are we inceptioning this?
I think so.
All right, okay, that's what I wanted to
I hadn't thought of that,
know.
but yeah, I saw where you were going.
Yeah, the thing we talked about already, like Dylan just stole a bunch of video game ideas from Flynn, became CEO, and now he's trying to find and Flynn's trying to find the evidence in the system. The evidence is just one piece of paper where it just says, "Yeah, probably."
See,
Um,
I didn't actually know he was trying to find it. I was wondering why he was going. Like, I thought he was trying. Well, I thought he was trying to shut down the MCP. I thought that was his mission.
Flynn doesn't give a shit about
Yeah, I missed that part. I thought
that.
that was his mission when I first watched. Well,
That's Tron's jazz.
yeah, I know.
That's what Tron's doing. Flynn, he just wants that piece of paper, and when he returns to the real world, he just lean like nothing's happened to him. Just leans over, just goes, "Yeah, that's it." Rips it off the paper.
Well, that kind of makes sense. I think that in the real world, I think he was in the computer game for like like seconds
Right? Okay. Yeah.
because like he
Oh
was
yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
because he went to that guy and he's like, oh, I've been here for 200 cycles, no, whatever cycles. I think like everything moves in the computer so fast
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
literally
Yeah. Okay.
seconds
I'll
have
admit that.
passed. So when he comes back to the real world, literally nothing has happened to him, but he does have surely the memories of hours and hours of toil. That must surely tire him out.
But yeah, he just leans over to the printer, just rips the page off, and just goes, "Yeah, I got what I needed. Let's fuck off." It's also. Have you seen Free Guy?
Yeah,
It's the plot of Free Guy as well. Like the big company has stolen their video game, and they've got to find the evidence of the game inside the famous game, right?
yeah. And there's like what do you call them? Easter eggs that the
There's
programmers
Easter
have
egg.
the original programmers had hidden.
Yeah, so it's like off the coast that you can't leave, you can't go past the waterline or something, and it's hidden out there. And like the game itself in Free Guy, the only reason that's proved is because it's live streamed to everyone.
Yeah,
Like if they just found it on their own, that's not evidence and no one gives a shit. I thought like the main evidence of that was like the AI thing that they found in Guy, but their little island hippie paradise thing, fuck that. This is the plot of fucking Free Guy.
Yeah, fucking Tron's copied Free Guy, bastards. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say this, but they do mention the word once during the movie. I'm wondering if the Matrix was based on this.
I would say influence, probably.
It will definitely influence, yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a bit of that in there somewhere. I think you know what I'm thinking of. When the Matrix starts and it's just like that green text at the top of the screen, it zooms into the
Yeah,
zero.
that's what I was thinking that as well.
Yeah, yeah. All right, okay, yeah,
Just
cool.
like the
Yeah,
opening,
okay.
just like the opening of this, like almost.
Yeah.
Then goes into the little digital lights thing. Does the same thing in Matrix, right?
Yeah. Um
Except it goes through
also
code.
it's what I know from the filming of this is that they started off like all the actors in this are filmed against a black screen. Like, and then they like fucking rotoscope painstakingly cut out all the people and then put them on the like in an animation.
God damn.
But in the when they originally started it, it was white screens instead of black. So there were these people. They say it'll be a bit like THX 1138. Have you seen that film?
No.
It's like an old George Lucas film. It's what THX is named after. The where it's just a dude in a big white room getting fucked up.
Like
Which is
like
what
the
the
architect.
which is what the construct of Matrix is.
Yeah, like
Is a big white room.
like the
Yeah.
architect.
Architect had his room. He had his little room of
Oh,
TVs, didn't he?
sorry, the construct. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, when they first load in and then they load
Yeah,
like
yeah.
weapons and shit in, that bit. So that I think that came from that
Hmm.
as well. So yeah, yeah. I like the fact that I don't like the fact. Do I like the fact? No, I do like the fact. Fuck you. I do like the fact. Alan and Tron gets locked out and Alan gets his level 7 clearance restricted. So then they go to Flynn and then they decide with Flynn, we'll actually go to the building and break in and use level 6 clearance instead.
Is it the same building?
Yeah.
It is the same
Everyone's
building.
Dillinger's
Oh
upstairs.
shit, of course they mentioned. Yeah, yeah.
Dillinger's upstairs taking a shit and fucking playing with his swivel chair.
So Alan even has higher clearance, so he is a better programmer than Flynn.
So Flynn loses his level 6 access at and they used of all the computers in the building, and they show a big wide shot, which is a matte painting of like a big, huge office.
Yeah,
with terminals and shit. And what computer did they use? The one in front of the dangerous laser.
that's one of the computers.
Fucking idiots.
But that's Laura's workstation, right? So she
Yeah.
can give Flynn access because I don't think Flynn has access to anything. So Laura gives him access to her work terminal.
Again, they have computers on the outside of that laser machine.
Yeah. I know.
Anyway.
But like if he didn't sit there, then he wouldn't have gone to the Tron world. So
MCU though, being a putz.
MCP.
The MCP being a putz brings Flynn into the computer world to stop him rooting around. You could have just shut off level 6 access. And 2, by bringing him into the computer world, you've just given him unlimited access.
Yeah, and also
You dick.
when he brings him in, he does say like there was a few opportunities to get rid of Flynn right at the beginning.
Yeah,
and but the MCP is arrogant. He wants to prove to himself that he's better than Flynn, right? Better than a user. He's like, put him in the games. I want to see him die in the games. And like, Sark has an opportunity. Like he killed on that target game.
I can just kill him now.
He just kill him. He thinks about it, and then MCP's like, I want him to die in the games. All right.
Why? Just we can we can just walk in there now. We got these big sticks with that glow. We can just jab him with it until he dies.
But more importantly, after that, like Flynn for the MCP's ego is really important that he stays alive and dies in the games. But he escapes the games, and then a few minutes later, he's just shot by a tank, and they think he's been killed. So they were quite happy to just kill him anyway.
The MCP's a dick. Like the MCP's plan just completely backfired. When they escape like super easily. By the way, every time they transport into a game, like Flynn, again, super low stakes. Flynn just looks at everything, just goes, "Wow, what are we doing? Oh, deadly motorcycle race, cool. Yeah, what are we doing? Oh, we've escaped. Awesome. All right, this place is awesome, by the way. Yeah. No, I'm looking for a file. It's fine. Uh, Oh, dude died. Oh, I'm just playing with it. Even when he crashes that big fucking tank thing, he just gets up, busts and says, "Don't worry about the." Anyway, and he just wanders off.
Yeah, he doesn't. I can see why he got fired from his job.
Um, they escape the light cycle thing. They do exactly the same thing in the sequel, by the way. They just blow the wall out.
Well, because he knows how to do it. If it ain't broke.
Can I just say the Tron is a character who the film is named after. Tron is the kind of guy who is awful to talk to at parties.
Yep.
Like, he's a full-on dick.
Yep.
He only talks shop. He only talks about his thing. I've only got time for this thing. I must do this thing for Alan. Why don't you fucking marry him then? Right?
Because he's in love with Laura.
In the second one, right? In the second one, Tron gets brainwashed by Clue 2 and
Okay.
becomes the bad guy called Rensler or something like that, who goes around and start. He's like fucking captain of the SS, right? He becomes a full-on Nazi in the second one. And I'm like, given your personality in the first one, yeah, I can kind of buy that because you're a dick. So if someone just told you be a Nazi for a bit, you probably just go,
All right.
yes, okay.
Finally.
Yeah, that's
Been,
fine.
been waiting
Yeah.
for that, but fucking order.
What a fucking he's such a dick. It's also worth noting when he dies in the second one. I think he dies in the second one.
Oh.
Like he has this he's chasing the good guys in the second one, and when Tron he has this moment of redemption where he's like, I fight for the user, and he switches sides and he kamikazes into Clue in the second one. No one can hear his inner monologue, and no one sees him die. So none of the main characters know what happened to him whatsoever.
Do they mention later that he was a hero?
No.
Good.
It's just they look out the back window, just go, oh, everyone's gone. Oh, I wonder what happened. Like no one sees his heroic sacrifice and no one hears of his redemption. It's just, oh, they disappeared or they're not anywhere. It's Clue survives anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. But everyone fucking ends that film thinking that Tron's a dick. The series is named after him.
So what, is the third one going to be called Tron 3? No, because he's dead.
3.
Oh, you said there was a sequel coming out. Another.
Yes, there is. All right, okay. Well, we're near the end of the film, but yeah, we can talk about the sequel. There's a sequel coming out. It's with Jared Leto. Don't say his name too many times, otherwise he appears.
Is that how he got the job?
So Jared Leto is in it. I don't know who plays. It's called Tron Ares,
Right.
and it's coming out next year. Well, Ares is the god of war, so that's a good start. In Tron Legacy, it's been a while since you've seen it, right?
Yeah, years.
So there's a portal that you get in through the portal and you get out through the portal. Clue is trying to raise an army in this one computer in a basement and then take it to the portal so that it arrives in the real world. He's trying to get to the real world in Tron 2.
Ah.
So he is trying to use the laser, like you mentioned earlier, to get back into the real world.
Why?
He wants to take it over. Right, one, the computer that they're on is just in a basement. It's not connected to anything. So the only way out is through that laser. Two, he takes an aircraft carrier like the one in Tron 1.
Yeah.
Full of people, like hundreds and hundreds of soldiers that he's raised to the portal, which then would be sent to the laser and
Which would
then
be the
to that
basement.
very small room.
I can see why that might be, but he doesn't know that.
He doesn't know that.
So So they could have just done nothing, and Clue would have just killed himself.
Yeah, by crushing everyone to death in a small room.
And that one computer would stop working because all the programs would be dead. But it's one computer, so who gives a fuck?
For fuck's sake. Anyway, apparently the third at the end of the first one, like he meets a girl,
Who meets a girl?
Olivia Wilde.
What? Who? Who meets a girl?
The guy, the main guy in Tron 2, he meets a girl in the computer world. Is Olivia Wilde. He brings her to the real world.
Oh,
So she's a person at the end.
so
And she's
so the
looking at like trees and shit, going, "Oh my god, that's fucking amazing."
so the laser creates human flesh into the.
Yes, apparently so.
Interesting.
Spinning towards the end of the film, when they're fighting the MCP at the end, the MCP, like he's got to put he got to put the data discs into the bit at the bottom of the cone.
Yeah.
So he puts up these walls, these little panels. So Tron throws the disc, it hits a panel, and it comes back. There's like a really like obvious gap.
If you threw it sideways.
There's that as well, but there's also like one obvious panel missing.
I thought that Tron smashed that one or something. He hit it like 4 or 5 times, and then
no, it's just there.
Okay.
Spinning around, so it's there every rotation, but it's Flynn jumping into. I'm gonna jump inside him. How do you know that'll work? Jumps inside him and then stops the spinny thing from happening, so Tron can get a clear shot.
The thing is, Flynn only said that so that Laura would be like, "Wow, you're going to sacrifice yourself," and then he would get off with her.
What else? Oh yeah, there's like a big sark for like a minute and a half. He becomes a giant man.
The MCP gives him all of his power, and he grows to a big giant. And he's a really shit giant. He doesn't do anything.
Literally does fuck all. He also says he leaves them on the ship, and it says when the ship gets close to the thing, the ship is going to de-res, and so is everyone on it. And the ship goes through this like portal that de-reses it and turns it into fucking lines and shit.
But they're still alive,
except for the people on board.
Yeah.
Right. Fuck, I lied. It's fine up here.
Yeah, they're just on like an invisible ship now.
What score? Let's wrap this up, shall we? What score would you give this fine expression of stuff?
It is a great movie. It is a bit dated, but even the graphics kind of hold up still, even now. And the aesthetics, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
But I do hate Flynn.
The main character is not the title character, and both the title character and the main character are kind of dicks.
Yeah, and like Flynn doesn't actually know what's going on or why he doesn't have a clue that he's accidentally saved literally 2 worlds.
Yeah,
and Tron's just a fucking wooden cunt. Other than that, yeah, I'd probably give it maybe a 70, 73. 72?
73. I think it's 7.3 because we do it in tens, I think. I'll go solid 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your mum, 7.
If they'd show me they'd show me what was under the blue circuitry, it would have gone up.
There's got to be porn of this, right?
No, I agree. I'd agree with you. 70, 71.
Oh, you've gone down a bit. I'll do 70. You do 71.
Okay,
Mr. Colin. Where could people find you if they were so inclined to look?
I'm Colin.gerard.92 on Instagram, and probably not worth searching for, but feel free to.
Dude, fucking self-worth. Come on, man. And who am I? What am I? Why am I? I'm on YouTube and Twitter and YouTube and TikTok at the Badger's Apprentice, or Badger's Apprentice without the and on TikTok, Twitter, sorry, at TBA_tweets. Yeah, that's probably it. Bye.
I'm so tired. Bye. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll cut that in at the right point.